Welcome everybody back to another episode of Anchors Away. As we once we restarted, it feels like we're just getting right back into the groove of things with two episodes every week, and then now starting to just upload each section individually. So if you don't have the time to watch a full 25 to 30 minute episode, you can at least see what we talked about in much smaller segments, which I like personally. I like watching clips, but we always appreciate watching the full videos as well. But we have some just kind of cool, interesting things to talk about today. Some new Seahawk Ring of Honor members being inducted in October against Arizona. Julio Rodriguez continues to just
Yeah.
amaze the Major League Baseball world with what he's doing. And then obviously Seattle is going to go play the NFC West rival San Francisco 49ers this Sunday for week two. Before we really jump into it, though, I will be looking at my phone today, not because I'm not paying attention to you, but because I have some stats and things I want to kind of look back at as we're going through the quarters here. It just seemed a little bit easier today, not having the full setup that I have had the last couple episodes. But before we start getting into and talking about the new Ring of Honor member, how are things for you? I'm sure you've enjoyed the week. We're almost to Friday here, or we will be when this episode goes live. But
Yeah.
anything new with you at all?
No, just a lot of pleasantries on Tuesday. I'll just say it's been a good week for Seattle fans on more than one sport too.
Yeah,
So that's
true.
been great. Just getting ready. We got some festivals starting up down here. So kind of the last of the summer big stuff. So it's getting busy downtown right now. So
Yeah.
which is kind of crazy to say, but it's picked up quite a bit, and there's a lot of stuff going on. So it's exciting times, and kind of nice to see things getting a little bit back more to normalcy. So, but not liking the traffic. So,
Yeah.
other than that, so how's things with you?
Yeah, no, I can't complain at all. I know it's only really been like a day since we did our last episode,
Yeah.
but the up in my upper right hand corner now, the DK Metcalf picture did arrive. Looks really nice. Highlighted just DK. It looks good, and then we're actually so now I'm in South Carolina. We are going to go to the Clemson game on Saturday, so it'll be
Very
a night
nice.
game to see. South Carolina actually had a really cool night environment, like the stadium or the university did. So
Okay.
it'll be interesting to compare the good football team and what if they
Yeah.
do anything at all for their night games. Apparently, on
Right.
their new scoreboard, they have a tiger that waves his paw when they score a touchdown. So that might be
Oh,
something
cool.
cool. So we'll see. But
And
yeah.
didn't they just ink Dabo finally? Didn't
Yep,
they lock
yeah,
him up for?
highest paid coach now in college, I believe. He's locked through 2031.
Okay.
So they should be set at least for the next few years. So
Good
um,
deal.
it's unfortunate for Louisville being in the ACC as well, but
Eh,
could be worse.
could be.
But let's dive into this because we do have some fun things to talk about
Yeah.
with Seattle sports today. So we're gonna
Coolio.
go ahead and start the timer, and once that pops up on our screen, we'll get started. And there it is. Newest Ring of Honor for the Seattle Seahawks member just got announced today, being the 2005 NFL MVP, who also had the touchdown record for 1 year before LaDainian Tomlinson broke it the following year. But Shaun Alexander finally getting inducted, and to me, I don't know if they have like a time frame on how long they have to wait to do that, but it felt a little bit. It felt like it was time. I
Right.
thought he could have been inducted a little bit earlier. Three-time Pro Bowl, one-time All-Pro, '05 MVP, Hall of Fame All 2000s team, 2005 Offensive Player of the Year. Just did a number of things, helped lead that '05 team to the Super Bowl against Pittsburgh. Obviously, Seattle fans, I think, have their opinion on that game. But just someone, I'm glad to see in 100 touchdowns for his career, just under 10,000 yards. Not just under, but close.
Right. Right.
Um, I mean, do you think he deserves it? Do you think it was time for Shaun Alexander to be in the Ring of Honor there?
Oh yeah. I mean, come on. He was probably one of the main reasons why we got to the Super Bowl in the first place. It was behind Jones and Hutchinson, and really he allowed Matt to get some of those because he was a receiving back as well.
Yeah.
So he was he was in there all three downs. He could get the pass for on third down. He was an all around good back, and yeah, I mean, uh, was he kind of a little soft? Yeah, he probably got the little moniker of being soft a little bit because he just wouldn't take those hits, but
Yeah.
good for him for trying to extend his career too. I mean, that was a time when it was they played a little different game back then.
Yeah.
And I do think, yeah, it was time. He definitely needed to get in. I mean, not only all of those, but you failed to mention a Madden cover. I'm
You
surprised you
did,
forgot
which,
the
well,
Madden.
that was the Madden curse. He kind of
Yeah,
fell off right
exactly,
after that came out. So
exactly. But he was recognized as being one of the best and MVP. And how many MVPs have the Seahawks had?
uh, well, zero since him.
Right.
Yeah.
So, definitely time. Definitely he deserves to be in the Ring of Honor, especially when you kind of consider some of the other guys that are in there as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
he definitely should be in there. I mean, when you have I think it's what Kurt Warner is the other running back.
Yep. He's in
I
there.
mean, compare them a little bit, and you can kind of see, yeah, he definitely should be in there. So I'm glad he got in there. Then it's no big controversy when Lynch's
Yeah.
time is coming
Exactly.
in. So you got your big running backs in there with Warner, and you got Alexander, and then obviously Lynch will be coming up. And I'm sure at some point, you got to consider maybe even Max Strong at some point. So
That's actually what I was thinking when I saw that, because he was obviously the guy that kind of led Alexander for a lot of those years.
yeah,
And he was just a big like face of Seattle for it felt like at
um,
least what I remember watching the Seahawks play.
yeah,
I was obviously younger at that point, but I feel like that's another good one that I'm kind of surprised isn't in there
yeah,
as well, because he was a big part of that '05 team, wasn't like he was there, right? I'm not
yeah.
making that up.
Nope. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, yeah. So yeah, I think he will eventually get in as well. There's a lot of guys that are deserving. So
Hmm.
and especially now that we're getting into the more competitive teams,
Yeah.
you're going to start to see the names starting to roll off, and it's certainly not what have you done for me lately type thing, and all these
Hmm.
guys, being so recent. Yeah, they're going to start seeing up on the thing, but truly, the play did change, and we got some really high quality players. Not to say that in the earlier days there isn't some guys that should be also considered
Yeah.
um, on that list too. But yeah, it's going to be yeah, definitely it was time for Alexander to get in.
So with that said, with just about 50 seconds here, we kind of mentioned Max Strong, but let's pretend he does make it. Let's just exclude him from this question. Who would you expect to be the next one inducted into the Ring of Honor there?
Wow.
Now the
Boy,
first name
I
that
almost think I'm almost as weird as this going to sound. Maybe Doug Baldwin.
that's honestly who I was about to say. That's the
Yeah,
first name that kind of came to my mind. I think because he retired, I think a year or two before Lynch, I would expect
right.
to see Baldwin probably be the next, because he was just such a big part of the Seattle
Yes,
franchise there,
yes.
and he continued to be around. I think
Yeah.
he might have been at the game on Monday, but
Yes, he was.
so yeah,
Yep.
I would definitely expect Doug Baldwin will be that next one.
Yeah.
Alrighty, 5 minutes, just it goes fast every time. I don't know how. I feel like we still have another at least 5 minutes to talk about certain
Right.
topics,
Yeah.
but let's jump over here. Let's get this timer restarted, and once we get this live, it is live. Okay, Julio Rodriguez just
There you go.
continues to do what he does.
Yeah.
He is now one of three Major League Baseball rookies to join the 25 home run, 25 steal club. I'm guessing you probably saw this already, but can you name the other two?
Well, one of them is Mike Trout,
Yep.
and oh, is it Acuna? No.
No,
Jones.
it's not someone you think it is.
Right. It's not Andrew Jones, was it?
No,
No.
so Andrew Jones was a part of the 25-25 under 21, but he wasn't a rookie
Okay.
when he did it.
Ah. Okay.
There's
Who's the other
one
rookie?
person from 2007 to
2007.
join to be the other member.
Wow. Who is the other member? I can't remember now.
Chris Young.
Chris Young.
Yep, would not
Wow.
have guessed that. And then the other
No.
thing with JRod is he's actually the first true rookie to be in that
Right.
25-25 club, as Chris Young and Mike Trout were called up the year before.
Yeah.
I just don't even know what to say anymore about him. He continues to impress, continues to improve. Um, will be the face of the Seattle franchise for the next 14 years based on that deal. I don't see him falling off. Fully expect to have a Mike Trout career from him at this point. Would you agree, or do you think it's going to be like Chris Young, where guy falls off after a few years?
No, he's definitely following in the footsteps of Griffey. I mean, he's this generation's King Griffey,
Yeah,
hands down. He's just getting started. You know, the way he plays, it's a game to him, and
yeah,
he's having fun. He doesn't allow the bench to get down. It's like, come on, guys, we're in a game. Come on, you know. It's like he's so beyond his years, maturity wise. You know, he's going to take. Yeah, guys are just going to naturally want to follow him, and of course they're going to want to play with him. So you know, he's going to be the reason why we're going to get free agents that
yeah,
would have never thought about coming up here. I mean, look at how fun Luis Castillo is having in the bench, and whenever you see him in the dugout, he's laughing, he's engaged with everybody. And I think and Eugenio, I think, is really picked up because of Alex. Of Julio, because he's just like going, holy cow, I got to be doing something here. I'm supposed to hit the home runs. So yeah, he's just raised the bar, and you know, you usually hear other teams getting these types of players, and
yes, not Seattle.
not Seattle. And the fact that he wants to be here, he
Mm-hmm.
loves Seattle. Yeah, just a once in a generational player. Um, Bless the scouting department of Seattle. Thank you for the leadership and the management of this group to say, yeah, sign the guy.
Yes,
Give him the money now, you know,
yeah,
because he's definitely solidified himself. He's probably now going to make that 470
yeah,
because
yeah,
he's already put it out there. He's already got that goal to get all the money.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So, you know, hey, he's here. He's here for, I guess, 17 years.
Essentially,
Fine with me.
yeah, yeah.
So,
So here's the follow up question there. Seattle has 20 games left in the regular season.
oh, yes.
Could he join the 30-30 club?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he joins the 30-30 club. And in fact, here's a question for you since you brought up the next 20 games. What does Seattle have to make to get into the playoffs? How many games? What can their record be over these next 20 games?
Like how many I think they need to win in order to make the
Yeah.
playoffs? 12.
Okay.
Now they do have a pretty easy schedule with the Athletics, Royals. Two series against the Athletics, one against the Royals, and one against the Tigers. So I mean, I feel pretty confident that 12 is reasonable. I'd like to see 15 just to be comfortable.
Yeah. Well, here, let me give it to you this way. The Seattle Mariners are currently at a 563 clip. If they were to do what they've done so far this year, that would be 11-9. I don't think they get
Okay.
in with 91 wins.
I don't think so either.
So
They
if
have to
they
do
went,
better.
so if they only lost one game per series, they would go then seven, or they would be 14-6. That's a 700 clip. But I feel much better if they just won every single series and only lost one game per series. I think they get in with 94. Because
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
difference. That's the difference between getting in and not. There's like 3 games that I see as a buffer, which is crazy. Oh boy, we're already at 5 minutes.
yeah. We're ahead, but just to wrap this up real quick, Seattle does currently hold the number one wild card spot currently.
Keep it going, guys.
Yep. So I agree. Yeah, because Toronto's at 81, Tampa Bay's at 80. Yeah, they need to.
Almost have to run the table.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. Good to
But
know.
14-6 they could do.
Yeah. And again, 5 minutes. It definitely goes fast. But let's jump over to the third quarter now. Let's restart the timer for another 5. And away we go. So, Seattle goes to San Francisco. feel like this is the earliest we played them in a few years, at least that I can
Yeah.
remember. But the surprise to me is San Francisco is an 8.5 point favorite. Obviously they lost to Chicago in what was a literal like downpour, torrential down. I don't
It
even
was a
know. It
monsoon.
was bad.
It was good. Yeah.
Um, but does that surprise you at all? I know obviously the national media again thinks that it was just an emotional game. Seattle's going to fall off a cliff essentially. It's all going to kind of go downhill after the Russell Wilson game, which I mean I can kind of understand, but there were some things that I actually liked when I watched the game that I don't think is just an emotional uh,
Right.
spur of the moment kind of thing. 8.5 points. Does that surprise you at all?
No. Doesn't surprise me. We're going down to San Francisco, so that doesn't surprise me. Um, it doesn't surprise me that Lance is playing for his playing time right now, and
Yeah,
Shanahan is actually playing for his job.
it feels like
Uh,
it. Yep.
yeah, the pressure is all on San Francisco on this game, all on San Francisco. Which either they're going to rise to the occasion. They definitely have a defense that could rise to the occasion. That's
Hmm.
that's the one thing that scares me is even in regards of the game. Um, they definitely have an offense that can hold on to the ball. I
Yep.
expect them to definitely
Time of
outperform in
possession.
that
Yeah.
area. Um, the defense is definitely better than Seattle's defense at this point. And I think just with all the pressure, I think they're going to try to do some stuff to get Lance out of the pocket, maybe doing a little more athletic with his stuff to try to see what they can do against the Seahawks. Um, and I just think Shanahan can kind of see he's got some rookies to go up against, in the corners, especially against Woolen. I think he's going to use that to his advantage after seeing it now that they're on tape. So I don't think it's far fetched. Um, I can see why the national media kind of put it up that way. Um, I just think their defense, if we, and again, if we play anything like we did in the second half against San Francisco's defense, we're not scoring.
Yeah. I
We
would
might
agree
get
with
some
that.
field goals out of it, but I don't see we will have the same success as we did with our tight ends like we did in the first game. So um, that's surprising, but pressure's on San Francisco. Shane Waldron can do just about pretty much whatever he wants to do with Geno because Geno knows the playbook.
Hmm.
It wouldn't surprise me if we have another game 17-16.
Yeah. No.
Absolutely.
No. I definitely agree. I feel like 9.5 might be a little much for me.
Nine and a half,
Um,
too much, yeah.
yeah, or I guess 8.5 is what I have up there. I
And
saw
that's
nine and
come
a half
down from
earlier.
11, hasn't
Yeah,
it?
I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah,
But there's a couple things to touch on that I at least want to talk about real quick. At least maybe matchup wise, just because you said some things and some things I'm a little bit interested in as well. But like you said, Trey Lance scrambling. Last week he did scramble for 13 times and 54 yards to a 4.2 average. So um, I would imagine there's going to be a quarterback spy on Trey Lance. A
there
lot
better
like
be.
what they do with Kyler
Yeah.
and some of the other mobile quarterbacks out there. I'll be curious who they are because I did go back and watch some more of the Bronco game, and Cody Barton wasn't as good as I thought he was after my first watch through. So that does make me a little worried, and I would much rather have Jordan Brooks be able to just play defense rather than watch Trey Lance the whole time. Um, you mentioned Debo Samuel, or at least targeting Tarek Woolen.
Yeah.
I actually don't think they're gonna. I think Woolen's too fast. He's too fast, and he'll be able to keep up with Samuel. I'd look for them to have Debo in the slot a lot more because him
Yeah.
against Justin Coleman, that's a mismatch
That's
for
a
sure.
mismatch. Yeah.
Where even Woolen at least has the size, so uh, we'll definitely
As
see.
long as William can learn how to not grab, that'd be his biggest
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, and to be fair, one of the pass interference I didn't agree with, but one
No,
I'll give
should have
for
been.
sure.
Yeah.
Um, but so I would think that, and then the other thing I was kind of watching this earlier, and going back to Trey Lance, but what they like to do, we're going to take a delay a game because this is things to talk about.
You bet.
But they've had three on the right, one on the left. George Kittle is also on the left, right next to Trent Williams, the left tackle. And what they'll do, I've seen it at least once and a couple times, but they'll motion the outside receiver on the left to the right. And then once they snap the ball, George Kittle will take I guess that would be the left end, and Trent Williams will actually pull around Kittle to go to the outside, which leaves Trey Lance having Trent Williams as the lead blocker. So that makes me a little nervous
Yeah.
because we're a little bit undersized there, and I would expect things Trent Williams to do what he does, being one of the best left tackles in the league. But the last thing, real quick, Charles Cross and Abe Lucas have another matchup this week with Nick Bosa and Samson Ebukam. I don't know how to say his last name, but I know he's good. So that's going to be another one to watch out for, as I think they did the test pretty well in week 1. Can they follow that up again in week 2?
Expect to see a couple more double tight end sets on this one.
I would think so too. Yep. Yeah, I would definitely probably expect to see more 12 personnel than what we saw in week 1.
Yeah.
I do kind of like that pistol set they had where with the two like the H and the Y right next to Geno and Rashad Penny in the backfield. I kind of like that, but I would expect probably more guys on the line to help those two.
At least to start out with, to see how they do.
See what they do exactly.
Because at least Shane Waldron is willing to change.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
And hopefully he does not do what he did last week in the second half.
That's right.
With that said, again, I'm sorry we keep doing this, but
I know
these 5 minutes they just zoom right past. Let's go to the fourth quarter here, and we'll get this starting timer pulled up. And we're kind of going to go back to what we used to do, how I used to always have a trivia question of the day. We're going to have a 5-minute segment of trivia questions for you to answer.
Oh boy.
And this is all Seattle sports, so there could be some college, could be some professional, could be former professional teams. It's all Seattle-based.
It's all Seattle.
And this is going to be courtesy of funtrivia.com, so if any of these answers are wrong, I apologize, but they look pretty accurate from what I could see. So the first one is, what was the first professional organization in sports for the city of Seattle?
For Seattle. Let me see. Let me go back in time.
Now, I will clarify this. They do have it as NFL, NHL, NBA, MLB.
Well, that's going to be NBA, the Seattle Sonics.
And do you know the year?
That would have been 1967.
It was. Very good. You passed the first one.
Woo-hoo.
Who was the Seattle Seahawks' first 1,000-yard rusher?
Ooh, that's a great one. Ooh. Was it Sims?
No.
No. Would it have been Warner?
Kurt Warner in 1983. And would go on to
Rookie
do it
year, right?
3 more times, 85, 86, and 88.
Warner.
All right. What was the name of the venue for the Washington Huskies men's basketball court in 2003?
That wasn't the Alaska Airlines Arena, was it?
It was not.
Oh, what was it before? Heck Ed?
It would have been right after, I believe.
Okay. So in between those two. Heck Edmondson. I don't know. I can't remember.
Bank of America Arena.
Oh, that's where the Bofa came from. Okay.
Kind of an interesting one.
Yeah.
True or false? Buhner Buzz Night was an event held every year before a Mariners game.
That would be true.
It was. In July, they did that every year.
And in fact, Buhner was doing the buzz cuts.
And we'll do the final one here for you. What was the... I guess this isn't like super... it's Seattle sports a little bit. What was the name of the annual event that hosted the hydroplane races?
Oh, the Emerald Cup?
Seafair.
Well, yeah, Seafair. I thought you were talking about what was the actual trophy name or whatever. I guess it was the Gold Cup. Actually, it was the Gold Cup at Seafair. They actually took the Gold Cup away from, I think, Madison, Wisconsin for a couple years.
Fair enough. I would not have known that. Let's see if I can find some more here, since we actually went through that pretty quick. Let's see. That was a lot faster of a quiz than I thought. When I looked at it originally, I was like, "Oh, this has a lot of questions." And then as soon as you go through, it's like, "Well,
How
some of
many?
these."
Here's one for you.
Okay.
How many of the current Ring of honorees
Okay.
are non-players?
Is it 3
Yeah, let's
or
take
is
a
it
look
4? It's 3 or 4, I think, because Mike Holmgren, Paul Allen, the announcer,
So yeah, Mike Holmgren,
Paul Allen.
Paul Allen,
I don't know the name,
Pete
but the
Gross.
announcer.
Yeah, Pete Gross.
Is it 4?
There is 4. There's one more coach.
Oh. It was like from 80 to 91 or something. Chuck Noll.
Well,
Or Chuck Knox.
you got
There
it.
it is. Yep.
Chuck Knox.
It's like I just looked at this today. Like I should remember who this was.
I figured you may have.
Yep, I
Uh,
did look at it today when I was figuring out the Shaun Alexander stuff.
yeah.
But with 48 seconds here, we can kind of wrap this one up a little bit faster than a little bit. Do you have anything to say? Going into the weekend and should be Mariners are back to playing again this weekend if they aren't playing tonight. And then obviously Seattle plays the 49ers. But do you have anything
Yeah.
that you'd like to just touch on before we close it out?
Yeah. The Angels all of a sudden in Trout are pretty hot, so they're
Yeah.
looking to play spoiler. So again, Seattle, stay focused. Let's go 3-1 against the Angels and start out this road trip on the right foot. That it to me, this is a trap series right now.
Yeah.
So as long as they keep the heads together, we should be okay.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way to end it. It makes me a little nervous now seeing the wild card standings and how all 3 are at 80 wins or above, and now hearing kind of the season statistic of win loss. It's a little bit nerve wracking, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's why it's fun. I guess that's why teams like playoff baseball in September and going into October. But I'd much rather be like in Houston spot where it's you got an 11-game lead and you're gonna coast into the playoffs. But
Yeah,
it's all fun as long as we make it. Then whatever happens happens. But
yeah,
looking forward to the weekend. I think we're going to see a lot more from Seattle's offense and really see what they're about with
yeah.
it. Again, it's a rivalry game, so I think you'll see it. There's going to be extra, I guess, emotions in that one as well. It's not like we're just playing Atlanta like we do in Week 3, I think. But I expect to see positive things from them again.
Yep.
With that said, go ahead, subscribe, like, comment. Check us out wherever you want to. We're on most podcasting platforms, I believe, at this point. Mostly on YouTube because you can just do some fun things on there. But until then, this has been another episode of Anchors Away. We will see you all next week.
Have a good one.